humans, my name is Slady and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book and film comparison of We Need to Talk About Kevin. In my last video I talked about We Need to Talk About Kevin. You know what, I'm just going to start calling it WNK, the novel. So if you haven't seen that, I'll insert a link in the corner. So WNK, the film, came out in 2011, whereas the novel was first published back in 2003, and this is making me start to feel kind of old. The film had a cast. Tilda Swinton, John C. Reilly, Ezra Miller. So, you know, high expectations. And the acting was good. I didn't have a problem with the acting at all, but I do want to pick apart some of the story choices. The film is basically the same story as the novel. It recounts specific telling incidents that happen throughout Eva and Kevin's relationship, from his birth to his crime, and Eva's life in the aftermath as she recounts everything that's happened. I have a quote from the book that sums up what I think didn't translate well from the book to the film. The actual context of the situation in book is unrelated, but it works well enough here. And I'm a dummy-dumb that didn't actually quote it in my script, so now I have to look it up. Harvey did rattle me a bit, since he's a get-to-the-point type. In his office I stumbled and digressed. He messed with papers implying that I was wasting his time, or my money, same thing. We were at odds on our understanding of what constitutes truth. He wanted gist. Me, I think you only get at gist by assembling all the tiny inconclusive anecdotes that would fall flat at a dinner table, and that seem irrelevant until you collect them in a pile. Eva's story is one of seeking truth, or at the very least an understanding of her son. She's caught between blaming herself, which is nurture, over the inherent inclination Kevin had to become a killer, nature. It's an ever-moving needle that she deals with internally. But the point is, in regards to that quote that I just shared, it's that it's all the little things that bring it all together. All the little mannerisms Kevin did or didn't display, incidents that would happen around him at school or other children. In the movie, there's no doubt they couldn't include all the things covered in the book. And there's a damning amount of evidence against that kid which Eva couldn't compile or act on before shit actually hit the fan. But there was something lacking in the movie because I think it focused on the wrong things, or rather, it presented them poorly. In the opening of a movie, we hover over a wild tomato throwing... Why can't I say tomato? In the opening of the movie, we hover over a wild tomato throwing festival in the streets of some other country. Ava is being carried around in ecstasy as she's covered in red goop. This is heavy-handedly symbolic of her adventurous nature, freedom, and perhaps uncertainty or lack of inclination to be a traditional mother. Like, sure. But this happens a lot throughout the movie. We get long, mostly soundless clips or montages showing the things like her wild side pre-Kevin. Then we get a sharp cut to other things. Whenever she goes to bed, we watch her go to bed, and have a sharp cut to Kevin, and then again a sharp cut to the courthouse. The whole movie is a series of quick cuts around the storyline. The novel is structured similarly, and I think they tried to stick to the specifics while completely missing the transition. Each letter in the novel has a focus. Eva will talk about something that happened in her day. She'll think about her life as a kid, or before Kevin. Then chronologically, these topics lead into one story after another, painting Kevin as the Antichrist. Like in that quote. It's all the little things that come together to make a convincing solid truth, or in this case, story. Like I mentioned, in the movie, there's a lot of time spent in silence or with terribly old country music as we watch Eva blankly go about her day. We get in the context that she's contemplative and remorseful, but that's just our assumption most of the time. There's any number of reasons she would accept a pack of completely broken eggs that an angry neighbor broke. It's because it's a punishment she feels she deserves, but for all we know, it could just be anxiety. We don't get to know Eva. We just watch her story unfold in abrupt cuts. There's basically 3 timelines present throughout the movie that you can follow because Eva's hair is of different length in each of them. The directing is so non-sequential, they made sure we knew which Eva we were looking at because otherwise it was just a meaningless jumble of images for the first half of the movie. And the movie, in my opinion, did the bare minimum to tell the story. Basically, the movie said, "This is Kevin. Look at Eva now." It's not until Kevin is a child that you see any part of Eva's personality. I will give the movie credit that it tries to rely on imagery to express things, like when Eva is giving birth, there's a glass over her face distorting her, showing how disconnected and uncomfortable she is to her introduction to motherhood. But Eva doesn't express herself much until Kevin is around to talk to. She goes from being a reasonably disconnected mother to an intellectual individual, and I think that's a shame. In that expanse of silent imagery and bad oldies music, Why didn't they opt for narration? We Need to Talk About Kevin is supposed to be a deep dive into Eva and Kevin's relationship through her emotions and her thoughts, but in this way, the film presents events as fact. It's missing a connection between what would have been so easy to insert. The writing has already done it. And with that narration, had they included it, they could have organized the cuts from past to present in a less abrupt manner. As one of her thoughts turns into her reminiscing about one of her memories, turns into contextualizing her feelings with an actual event, was the proper progression, but that's not the presentation that we were given. We were just given events. We were just given facts. Eva was kind of cut out of it, even though she was the main character. We Need to Talk About Kevin is a movie that gets better the more you think about it. You appreciate the symbolism that you can pick out of it, but actually watching it, the choices made for pacing, cutting, and characterization in general was a letdown. It wasn't entertaining or even half as thought-provoking as the book. It was just on the TV. It happened. I gave We Need to Talk About Kevin, the book, 5 out of 5 stars, but I only gave the movie a C+. If you have seen the movie and read the book, let me know how you felt about their differences. Or if you've encountered either of them separately, do you now plan on experiencing the other one? I wouldn't suggest it for the movie, but let me know. Either way, I was a bit disappointed. It wasn't the movie itself, it was its lackluster performance after such an amazing book. But also, the movie just wasn't super awesome. I think they definitely could have done the narrative better, or at least in a more engaging way. It felt so sterile compared to Eva's letters. Anyway, if you like my comparison videos, please let me know. I will try to do more of them in the future. It just takes more time to read a book and then watch a movie and then compare them. I might do 1, 2, and then 3, if you know what I mean. I do thoroughly enjoy doing comparisons, they just take a bit more time. Reviews are shorter and easier. Regardless, if you liked this video, please let me know. Have a conversation with me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.